Hello and welcome into episode number 3 of Get the Ball Rolling. Are you serious right now? As soon as we started recording, Roland looked like he was about to start talking right into the mic.
But I stopped myself and you didn't have to call attention to it.
He's good now anyway. I'm Nick Laupius alongside with Roland Stevens. Roland, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing good. I am going to go ahead and make a shout out real quick. I'm going to go shout out our band who does our intro music, royalty free. Go check their stuff out on YouTube. Sorry. I thought that joke would kill me.
And we have Tommy McClear on the
Wow, I'm sorry.
Didn't you have a shout out to do for someone at our Super Bowl party? Well, Nick's Super Bowl party that we had on Sunday. Someone asked Nick to do a shout out for them for taking the picture of our header on Twitter and YouTube.
A big shout out to my lovely girlfriend Lauren Hote. If you follow us again on YouTube or on Twitter, our header, a picture of 3 of us, is something that Lauren took, and I do apologize. We did not give her credit initially, but we're giving her some credit now. So thank you for that amazing picture. As we'll get underway here with,
and the only reason I remembered that shout out is Roland's bad shout out joke.
Well,
otherwise I would have forgotten as well.
I didn't expect you guys to hang me in there to dry. I thought you could at least fake a laugh, but
nah.
Anyway,
it's gotta be good. So
well, all right. We'll leave that out for discussion later.
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay, I think he's finally done, so let's go ahead and get into it. Super Bowl 54 Chiefs.
Super Bowl live.
The first Super Bowl championship in 50 years. Or I guess a little more than 50 years, right?
No,
that's
okay.
50 exactly.
Yeah, 50 exactly. Congratulations to them, and it's another case of one of my teams choking on the biggest stage in their sports. So I'll go ahead and give it over to Tommy to start off as what he labeled on the rundown, a.k.a. Nick's torture.
Super Bowl breakdown, a.k.a. Nick's torture. I thought we'd talk about the biggest plays, the most crucial moments of the game. A lot of turnovers. I remember saying I think it'd come down to the turnovers.
Oh, right.
I thought it would much be like the Patriots-Eagles, and there'd be like maybe 1, maybe 2. But there was like 4, I think.
Yeah, 2 by Jimmy Garoppolo,
and then
2 by
Mahomes.
And Mahomes fumbled it 2 other times, but he didn't lose possession. So, but
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember a whole lot much. I started dipping into the beverages there about halfway through the game.
Well, I meant
as
to
did
ask,
Roland.
Yeah, I was pretty well composed, I'll admit, but I do have to ask, what are the feelings, especially for somebody whose team has lost, the few days after? Like, what's kind of like that breakup period for you, or that what do you find solace? I'm not asking to torture you. I'm generally asking as you're a fan of that team, what are your emotions right now? A few days now that you've kind of had to accept that.
Loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yesterday, fortunate enough not to have any work or classes.
I would have. If I did, I would have just taken it off.
So that was good. I did have to wake up at 4:45 in the morning, though. I had to take my dad to the airport. But once I got back home, then I just went back to sleep. My dad did tell me he was proud of me, said I handled it well. Well, we had people there. And
a fan of the rival team there as well.
Yeah, Al Rios.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, congratulations to him, I guess. He looked like Andy Reid with his shirt that he had on that day.
The Hawaiian shirt on.
But no, it was just, I don't know, yesterday it just kind of felt, kind of stayed in, started reading, I think probably the worst thing to do was start reading tweets and looking at other Niners fans' reactions to like the official team's posts. So that really didn't put me in a good place because there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, this team blew it, and they're not going to be any near as good next year," which is a possibility. I mean, that happened to the Rams a few years ago.
Yeah,
so, and it depends. They have a lot of people that they have got to re-sign. We'll see if this is a much different team going into next year. But today, feeling a little better. I'm getting over it now and just kind of focusing on other things. And, of course, now you look at it, Red Wings played last night and they lost. They've lost 9 in a row now. So they're on pace for an historically bad season, and I think we're like 50 days or so away from opening day for the Rangers. So That's what I'm looking forward to.
I will say one thing about this Super Bowl. It was not the offensive shootout I think a lot of people, even including ourselves, thought it would be.
Yeah, I thought similar score, but in the 30s and 40s rather than 30s and 20s.
Right.
I didn't think it was going to get up into the 40s. I thought the highest ceiling was maybe in the 30s.
Well,
Like 38, 35. That might as well be 40.
I very much
No,
thought.
well, it's not in the 40s though.
I very much thought that like the first turnover would be the deciding factor, and
Yeah.
now when you have 4 turnovers in a game, it doesn't really. They did not have the effect that I thought they would in that game. Crucial moments and crucial plays. I'd have to say Damian Williams had a heck of a game.
That guy's being slept on as well. I
Yeah.
do think, which kind of segues into our next one, MV Pat. I do think Pat deserved it, but I think Williams is being slept on by how much of like a
factor he was
Yeah.
in that game for
he
sure.
had like 3 touchdowns.
Oh yeah. Well, no, he only had one.
He only had 1.
He only had one. Travis Kelce had the other, and Patrick Mahomes ran in for the third. And the rest were field goals.
I thought he had more than.
Well, let's do some math real quick. What was the final score? Maybe
It was 31 to 20.
I can look up.
Maybe
You don't
he did
have
have
to do
to.
math. I could have sworn he had 3.
No, I think he has to. I think only had one.
He ran that one in at the end.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
the-
and he
oh,
caught
you're
that
right,
one
yeah.
over the goal line.
Yeah, that's two,
And I
that's
thought he
two.
powered one in on the goal line early in the game as well, but who knows?
It was 2, then Mahomes, then Kelsey. So 28, and then all the field goals that come with that.
Yeah, Williams only had 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
104
I
But
did-
yards
rushing. But what about receiving? Because he received the other one.
Yeah, had 1
Yeah.
receiving and then 1 rushing.
Okay.
So he did have 2.
104 yards on the ground. Of course, granted that one came off that big run he had
Yeah.
at the end, and which is why I think Mahomes certainly gets the.
It's kind of hard for him not to be the MVP. I think had the same player intercepted Garoppolo twice.
Yeah.
that definitely would.
That's not-
Yeah, that definitely would have been the sure Clay MVP. But you just kind of have to give it for Mahomes for being responsible for 3 touchdowns. Those 2, the 2 passing and the 1 running in.
Yeah.
It's hard to say he's not.
Yeah, he didn't have over 300 yards passing, but I think if you add his rushing, it's like 315 something like yards of offense just from Mahomes. So, yeah, deserves it, and I think he made up for the 2 picks. He didn't play very well at the beginning of the game either, but I think he made up for that as well.
That's been a trend all playoffs.
Yeah,
They just don't open well, but they finish strong. And something about them that I don't know if a lot of people have noticed, but when they score, even when they're behind, they act like they're 3 touchdowns ahead. Like the moxie of that team.
Yeah.
And those moments.
rolling, busting out Moxie.
But no, for real.
You got Moxie, kid.
For real, when they were playing the Texans, after the Texans failed that 4-point conversion,
Yeah.
and they
There's-
scored.
What's a 4-point conversion?
My bad. 4th down conversion.
Yeah, jeez.
My bad.
Nick's feeling it. He's
And they scored that first touchdown. They acted like they were 3 touchdowns ahead. And at that point, it was like, okay, well, does that play into the head of the other team, or how does that really affect their team? Or did they get that confidence to be like, hey, we're not out of this game yet. We still can get in it and have faith.
And you know who they got that confidence from?
Big Red.
Big
Andy
Red.
Reid.
I think they got it more from Jimmy Garoppolo blowing it on the other side. I mean, you have a 10-point lead with about 7 minutes to go, and you decide to kind of go away from the run game. Now, granted, Kansas City made some adjustments and we're starting to stop that rush attack, but if you're the offensive mind of Kyle Shanahan and all the different things they've been doing throughout the season with their offense, how do you not come up with something else to counter? Instead, you let Jimmy G kind of over that 3rd down. You overthrow a guy wide open. That would have been a touchdown with a dagger.
So, Mina Kimes from ESPN wrote a really good article.
She's really good.
Yeah, stating that the Kansas City
I've
Chiefs...
never really heard of her. I don't really follow any ESPN stuff anymore.
The
so.
Kansas City Chiefs... Oh, my gosh.
I don't.
She's pretty good though.
Well, the Kansas City Chiefs defense is actually one
More
of the worst
the athletic kind of
against the motion.
Mm-hmm.
And no other team in the league ran motion in their offense more than the 49ers.
Yep.
And they almost completely went away with motion in
Exactly.
the 3rd and 4th quarter.
In the NFC Championship, they ran it like 42 times. In the Super Bowl, they ran it 22 times, 10 times in the second half alone.
Jeez. They got away from what worked for them. I don't understand
Yeah,
that.
It's like
Yeah.
28
I really
to 3.
don't understand that.
Same thing. It's same guy. It's 28 to 3.
That's not the same thing.
Well, okay, no.
You don't have a 25-point lead.
No, but it's the same.
And it's against a more explosive offense than what he faced with the Patriots.
He did the same thing though. He blew it by getting away from the run and making them pass for no reason.
But I also say
No,
the defense
again,
blew it
no.
for not containing Williams on that run.
What do you think?
Well, he didn't abandon it for no reason. The Chiefs had really stopped their running game. Okay, all right, yeah.
But he still blew it though.
I wouldn't say he's completely at fault for that. I would say honestly, Kyle Shanahan's the one at fault for that.
That's what
mainly.
That's what I'm saying.
we were talking
I
about.
thought you were gonna sit out and say Jimmy Garoppolo, and I was like, that's not all on him.
No.
He
I'm saying
doesn't call the
Shanahan.
plays, does he?
Sorry, I'm trying to look up stats right now. Forgive me.
Jesus.
This is
Yeah,
not-
but I mean, I saw a lot of people obviously are giving him a lot of flack for a blown lead, but how can you not he's a good coach. I mean, last
yeah.
year
Oh, definitely.
you go
Oh, yeah.
with 4 wins, and then granted there was a lot of injuries last year, but coming back this year, going all the way to the Super Bowl, and that's a pretty impressive turnaround. But again, now it's going to be interesting to see what they do after this collapse again.
Robbed for Coach of the Year, by the way.
I think
he didn't,
so.
He
yeah.
didn't get it.
Who did get that?
Harbaugh.
Harbaugh.
Oh, really? Another thing that really worries me about that 49ers team
We already
is
talked about that, I believe.
well, another thing that worries me about that 49ers team is that after that Falcons implosion during the Super Bowl against the Patriots, that team I don't think has ever really been the same, both mentally and just record-wise on the field. And I hope that doesn't happen for the 49ers, but I don't think they had that sort of collapse in that sort of game.
No, it was not a 25-point collapse.
Well, no, but I also don't think I think that Shanahan is now more hungry than ever to prove himself in that moment. So I definitely don't think I would count them out in any regard.
He's also still the coach.
Yeah.
He
left,
He
yeah,
left
yeah.
right after that, 28-3.
It's just him being associated with that loss and now this one.
Yeah.
It just kind of makes me wonder what his thought process is in this moment.
And I know you touched on it, Lau. Jimmy G overthrowing Sanders on that third down. Personally, I don't like that call on that third down, but if you're going to go for that call, I mean, he was open.
He had it.
I don't
He
want to
had
say
it.
he was wide open, but he had a step or two on
yeah.
the defender, so that's a different story going into there. But then, see, I just don't like that you call that on third down, because now it puts you to 4th and, 10 or something
Yeah.
that it was? Then you're really like, okay.
And you let the Chiefs save the timeout because you stopped the clock. It's about 6 minutes left. So, yeah, it's a tough one. It's
Speaking of good performances by people on the losing team, Nick Bosa, 5 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 1 pass defended during the Super Bowl.
yeah. I mean that
He had a great
defense.
game.
I mean the defense was
Yeah, I don't think they played bad.
really solid up until the last 6 minutes or so.
And everyone's talking about Sherman getting cooked by Watkins on that one play, which he did, but I don't think that
Yeah,
I don't want to say that decided the game, but because people are being really hard on Sherman, I think that's just because people hate him for whatever reason.
Easy.
And I mean, he did get burned by him, but I mean,
He also, I think, tripped at one point, but it was only like a 7-yard first down
Yeah.
gain. It didn't really affect much into the game, and I think it only led to a field goal, but I could be completely wrong.
Yeah. So congratulations to the Chiefs, a huge win. And then how about Andy Reid?
Big Red.
He got
his.
He got a double cheeseburger. I think the night
did.
the night of. Good
He
for
did.
him.
Oh yeah, did you hear his quote where he said, "I didn't go to bed with a trophy. I went to bed with my trophy wife."
Yeah. Very,
What a guy.
Very touching sentiment right there. I don't know
Oh,
why
yeah.
that's so funny. But good
It's just such him. It's such like an Andy Reid quote.
He's a good guy.
It's
He's
like
a great
like
guy.
a good husband quote. Yeah.
I think one thing, especially with one thing with that win with him, is I didn't realize how many people really loved him on other
lot of
teams.
people like him.
I think the Eagles' president
I love
of
him.
football operations came to just see him win. And
Wow.
everybody in that Eagles organization still loves him, even though they had to let him walk.
And Andy's the only reason why our friend Al is even a Chiefs fan. It's
Well,
just because he likes Andy Reid.
Oh,
I don't know
course.
how anyone could hate Andy.
Oh, he's such a
No,
lovable guy.
yeah.
I really,
I think there's some Eagles fans out
He
there that
plays
don't
in,
like him.
he plays into the jokes too with like,
Oh, yeah.
I got to, I got to get in shape for my, for Miami and all that. So he plays in. He's a very just likable guy. So good for him and good for the whole
Yeah, he embraces the
fan
character.
base. Yeah. Which, by the way, they do not play in Kansas.
They play in Missouri.
Yeah. Although, yeah,
Some people were really confused on that one.
That one person, yeah.
Arrowhead is in Missouri, although Kansas City is to be fair, between the two states, but the Kansas
But
City
it's
Chiefs play
in Missouri.
in Missouri.
Let's not defend.
I'm not defending anyone. I'm just saying the city
Wow.
is
Sound like Nick Bosa over here. All right, who wins next season?
Steelers.
Way too early.
Oh, Cowboys, easy. New head coach.
God.
Great.
Okay, yeah, Mike McCarthy, the guy who was run out of Green Bay because he couldn't keep up with the time.
Unironically, I do think if Drew Brees stays, I think the Saints have another run in them, but I'm not confident in it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it would be. I think the Chiefs have a lot of pieces that they're going to lose. I'm not sure about them, but I don't know who in the AFC can really contend against them, so I'm calling it now. Saints versus Chiefs.
It depends on what moves the Ravens make.
Yeah.
And how Lamar
Oh,
will
yeah.
adapt.
And I think the
Oh.
Ravens will still be good
Mm-hmm.
next season. I feel like it won't be as flashy. It won't be like
Yeah.
a 14
Oh, yeah.
and 2 season, but I could actually see the Ravens being the Chiefs of this season, where they got close, had this like amazing season, and now this year you don't want to say the pressure's off, but it's like, okay, old news. We know what Lamar's going to do, and then is when it comes.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they go 11-5, not as flashy as 14 and 2, and then make it to the Super Bowl.
And another thing too is that now that there's an off season for coaches to kind of game plan around Lamar and even Patrick Mahomes for that point, they might not have the immediate success that they do. It might not come until later in the season. Because of course the storyline was always, oh, who can stop Lamar? Well, if you give a defensive coordinator time, he'll find a way.
yeah.
And of course, you'll have the Patriots will be back on top. I don't think Tom Brady's going anywhere. I think we have a rant for that later. But I mean, you can never count them out. We'll see what moves they make if they get some more playmakers around Tom Brady on the offensive side, because that defense is stellar. They've been good ever since Matt Patricia left.
and the Lions have been bad
Yeah,
ever since he
so-
got there.
So we'll see. But yeah, definitely be interesting. And then maybe here in a few weeks, start looking at the draft pool, and we'll see who's positioned to take which players, and that'll be.
Roland has a point about the draft that is the sole reason why he got behind doing this podcast, and I won't say it right now. We'll
Oh.
save it for the upcoming, draft episodes. But
Oh, yeah. A very
this will be some
controversial,
good debates.
a very controversial draft comparison to a player in the league. And I will break it down when it comes to that time. I have actually studied film on both because now I was actually genuinely curious to know, but we will save that for our draft episode.
So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned.
All right. So anything else for the breakdown of the game itself
Now, it was a good game.
before we get into the fun stuff?
A
a
good
good
game.
game.
Yeah.
Good, yeah.
Sammy Watkins had a good game.
He had like 98 yards.
Yeah, he,
Tyreek Hill had 100.
Sammy Watkins might sit out next season. He said so himself. Just thought about taking a year off, but after a game like that, I don't know if you do that or not. But,
Kelsey had a good game too. Wasn't
yeah.
like flashy, but
oh
it
yeah,
was a
he
good
got that
one.
touchdown, which is good for him. He finally got his ring.
Yeah.
Frank Clark got his ring.
Yeah.
The second, right?
Frank. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Or
think he
Jeffrey
has-
Wilson.
Yeah, that was. He got
without
a
ring.
lot of playing time.
He did.
though.
Yeah,
He did.
He was blocking
He
a
had
lot.
some good runs. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a catch.
Yeah, big-bodied guy.
Yeah, 20-yard catch off one target. He did everything he was supposed to do. We really feel for him in that loss because as fellow UNT alumni, except for Nick, who
Hey,
is still
Like,
enrolled,
still
still
goes
enrolled.
here.
Exactly.
Got-
We definitely feel
interviewed
for Jeff
if anything,
Wilson.
he's more connected to him.
And I hope that he stays and has an impactful season, or there's another team out there that finds merit in his work.
Might fill in for Zeke. Zeke
Oh.
will probably miss the first 4 games or something. Another holdout, or who knows.
Well, he got
what.
his contract.
He'll
so.
be in Cabo for
Anyway.
some reason. But all right, so anyway, done with that. Now let's move on to the fun stuff. There were some good commercials, I thought, from what I remember.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't like how we talked about it at Laup's house for the party. I don't like how they're releasing the commercials like a week beforehand.
Oh yeah, that Rick and Morty Pringles commercial, which I genuinely thought was funny, was leaked or released a week before, and I was like, oh come on! Like if I saw that live and saw Rick and Morty and didn't expect it, that would have been maybe my favorite commercial.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that Bryan Cranston doing Jack
Yeah,
Nicholson
that
and
was
the.
good.
I was a baby nut
Shining.
guy.
I liked that. The Kool-Aid Man.
The
Mr.
Kool-Aid Man's
Clean.
tears
That
are what
was
brought
pretty
the
good.
Mr. Peanut back
And
to
let's
life.
be honest, Nick was pretty torn up about Mr. Peanut's death.
I
too.
really was. Yeah, I sent you the tweet when I first saw it. I mean, he's
Oh yeah, you sent it you sent it in our
Yeah.
group chat.
That's what I said.
Well, Tom said specifically to him. It was to us. Big difference.
Okay. Well, yeah, but so yeah, there were some good ones.
This is like the fourth down conversion and the fourth down point debacle all over again.
What's a 4th down point?
Shut up. It happens.
But I mean, there were some good ones.
Yeah.
Again, I don't remember too much. I was kind of everyone was in the living room.
Yeah,
and
I was kind of
back
away.
toward the kitchen.
The
kinda
Winona Ryder one was good.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Tommy's crush.
Yeah.
So, how do you guys feel about the Google like home commercial?
Well, I'm glad we found a cure for Alzheimer's. It's Google
So,
Home Mini.
I don't want
Wow. Hot take here.
I don't want this to come off in a rude way, but my dad is 60, right? And actually, he's 62. I have trouble enough just telling him how to figure out like podcasts. I have no idea.
Does he
how-
listen?
I have no idea. I told him we have a few episodes, and he hasn't given me feedback.
Just send him the link.
Yeah.
To YouTube.
But I point that I don't know how an 80-something, like 85-year-old man with Alzheimer's can work a Google Home. I don't. That just kind of like.
I guess let
I
their
had this-
family sets it up for them.
Well, I had to suspend my disbelief for that one a little bit. I'm not sure if I was a
it
fan.
was a nice one, but
Yeah. Roland Ageist Stevens over here.
I'm not ageist. I'm just saying, like, I just don't. You can tell how evil a corporation is by how heartwarming their Super Bowl ad is. That was a tweet I saw, and I agree with it wholeheartedly.
Fair enough. There were a lot based on our prop bets. There were the Charlie Day for the Tide, and/or
Yeah.
it was also for something else at the same time too. That was told in at least 4 parts.
Yeah.
so,
4, yeah.
good for
it was-
him. Good for Charlie Day.
Yeah, he's gonna get
Good
his
guy.
Super Bowl check for that one.
Then there weren't any specific vague movie trailers. There were a lot of movie trailers, but there weren't any ones that were like you don't know what it is until
Right.
the very end. You knew pretty much all of them what it was in the first few seconds.
I will say, like, vague trailers was like definitely the Disney Plus where they showed footage from the Marvel TV shows they're gonna release.
Yeah.
That were previously unreleased, but I agree with you. You know what that is.
Oh, but to talk about vague, Tom Brady,
God.
and so that came on early in the game,
Right.
the Hulu commercial, and I think you pointed it out, Rolling, like, oh, it's Tom Brady, and everyone got quiet. There were a lot, like maybe, I don't know, like 10 of us there, something like that.
I don't even think there was.
Okay, but the room, everyone got quiet, and then
There was 8.
All right, well, close.
Yeah.
4
So
point,
8. I mean, you know.
4-point conversion. Anyway, everyone got quiet, and we're like, "Oh, what's it? He's gonna announce, something." And it's that stupid. He ruins fun.
I
He
didn't-
ruins
I
fun
liked it.
on the field and
I didn't
off
have
the
a,
field.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I thought it was kind of funny.
I think I would have had more of a problem if he announced he was leaving a team, and then the storyline's not the Super Bowl, but it's Tom Brady again.
Well, that's what he would want, though.
But he didn't do it.
It's
Did
all
he?
about him. Regardless, it is the storyline is all about.
This
Tom
is just
Brady.
your anti-Tom
No,
Brady
it's
propaganda.
not.
You can't let the
Regardless-
man have a little ounce of fun.
It was fun. I thought it was
Yeah,
fun.
Your argument doesn't make sense because you're like, oh, well, if he announces he's leaving, the story's all about him. If he's announcing he's staying, the story's all about him.
Not really.
He's making it about
No,
him.
That
everyone
wasn't true.
Everyone expects him to
Yes.
stay.
No.
No.
Everyone wanted him to leave.
How many people at the end of the game on Sunday were talking about, oh my God, can you believe Tom Brady had that? No, they were talking about the Chiefs winning
Yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Literally, that was an
if-
afterthought.
Now, if he, like to Roland's credit, if he would have announced that he was leaving on that commercial for Hulu or whatever
Yeah.
during the Super Bowl, then a lot more people would be talking about that after the game.
He-
But you didn't see that happen.
Like-
You just have a prejudice against anyone really named Tom.
He's ruining fun on the field.
No.
How
and
was
off
he
the
ruining,
field.
How was that ruining
He's
fun?
ruining your fun. I
would-
think we need to get that clear. He's ruining
You know how
your
fun that would have been to see him play for another team?
He still might. That commercial
No,
is
he's
still
staying.
blue.
He's staying
He's
in the
staying,
league.
yeah.
He said, "I'm not going anywhere." Maybe that's
So that-
maybe that's reference to
Maybe-
just in the league.
Maybe the black and white
Oh, yeah.
shot was a allude
At
to like the
on
Raiders.
on the Foxborough field. He's not
Maybe it's
going
an allude
anywhere.
to the Raiders. I don't know.
I don't see why that isn't fun. I liked it. I
So,
thought
so you're saying
he
you
kind
would
of was poking fun at himself.
you would say you would much rather him walk onto that field in that black and white setting
and say, I'm leaving.
and say just win, baby, and then it cuts to the Raiders logo.
That would have been insane.
Exactly, but it
That's
also would have
that's not
taken
the
away.
right. That's
yeah.
not the right way to go about
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Eli Manning retired early, so the story would be the Super Bowl.
Exactly, because Eli's a good guy.
Okay,
Tom's not.
we don't know that. Maybe he is.
Okay, well, okay.
But what do you mean he's not? He's better than your guy Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, and all his shenanigans.
That's not what we're comparing. We're comparing Brady and Eli.
Should we also compare Antonio Brown's shenanigans?
He's not on my team.
Well, he was at the same time. But anyway, I think
Tom
so
Brady ruins
this
fun.
little debate is
Tommy,
so silly.
he just doesn't like Tom Brady because he's beaten his Steelers so many times.
Well, and cheated in the league.
It didn't need to, but I'll agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't need to. That's on a side rant from that. That's the worst thing about the Patriots cheating thing is they cheated when they didn't No need to at all.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
But yeah, so
I
you know,
I agree. Yeah.
and think of he did that because he was like, this podcast could have had so much to talk about of where I could land, but I'll just stay in New England.
we can
So
still.
they don't
I
have
doubt
an-
that was. I doubt that.
I still.
That was a personal attack on get the ball rolling.
He's never heard of us.
Yeah. Personally, I think I would see him go to Miami over Kansas City or LA.
Why would he go to Kansas City?
What I mean, I said. Did I
Yeah.
say Kansas City?
You did.
I meant Las Vegas and the Chargers because he would be. The Patriots
No one
fans.
wants to go to the
Patriots fans are scared of the Chiefs without explicitly saying they're scared of the Chiefs, and I don't see why he would play against Mahomes twice if he really didn't need to. I think he would if he's really sick and tired of Bill Belichick, like people claim he is, which I truly kind of don't believe. I think he would go to Miami, where Brian Flores is that Belichick disciple. Miami's beaten the Patriots without Brady, and I think Brady, if he really just wants to get back, that's where he'd go. And then they would draft some Tua Tagovailoa to be the backups, the Aaron Rodgers, to hit Tom Brady's Brett Favre. But I don't think Tom Brady would actually enjoy that mentorship role. I thought it long and hard about that one.
Brett Favre really screwed over Aaron Rodgers a little bit.
Oh no, absolutely.
I was thinking about that because I was looking up on a side note. Aaron Rodgers is like career. He doesn't like start till like his 4th year in the league, and so he sat for like 3 or 4 years because Favre couldn't decide if he wanted to hang it up.
And then even then, Brett Favre went to Minnesota,
Yeah,
like to get
And he
back
was
at that
good.
team.
He was good there. Too.
Oh no, yeah,
but
really
yeah,
good.
no. So, Brady ruins fun. Aaron Rodgers has 3 wasted years of his career, and here we are.
You know, so as we're kind of going off of this, hatred against other teams, I am upset with the Niners, and they really went full hot boys with the Cowboys and completely melting down in the second half of the game. So
I
I'm
wouldn't say that at all.
very upset.
Hot boys
that-
usually play, full throttle.
Do they really?
Oh yeah,
It
absolutely.
hasn't happened the past few years.
Sometimes you can't always blame one specific. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I wasn't expecting this argument.
So yeah, I mean,
I wasn't expecting to have this argument today.
I am.
I just woke up from a nap.
I am a little upset that they fully embraced every aspect of Hot Boys and completely collapsed. So
I like this vinegar podcast.
I guess you could say the Niners Super Bowl hopes were fool's gold.
Anyway, so the halftime show.
that's 2 bad jokes from Roland today.
The halftime show. Some good memes out of that.
Okay, so she's actually Lebanese, and that's part of Lebanese culture to do so.
Yeah, as you were sitting here making fun of it.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just
Yeah,
quoting
You just made fun of it.
I too have Twitter. But yeah, I saw a good meme that, I'm going to make fun of it a little bit. That was Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend in the booth annoying everyone, and then it was just that gif.
I liked that. I thought it was a really good performance.
Yeah, so did I. I think, for one, it led to a memorable Super Bowl halftime performance.
Mm-hmm.
Just off the top, who performed in the Super Bowl last year at halftime?
Adam Levine, right?
Yeah, because everyone said his
Yeah.
tattoos looked like the Chipotle bag.
Well, and then all like the white, like, older.
No way, really?
Yeah, that was a tweet
Well,
last
so
year.
like older.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I've never heard that. Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Roland's contagious laugh.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Nick?
So we're 28 minutes into today's podcast. Last year, I saw people obviously comparing the reactions from last year's Super Bowl halftime to this year, where a lot of the older white women are upset at this performance on
Yeah.
Sunday, saying that it was one step away from pornography, and wow, I can't believe the NFL would approve this. Kids were watching.
Okay. So
I
here,
mean, come on.
here is my devil's advocate to that conversation. If that really bugged you so much, change the channel. Take your kids out of the room.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
real.
You're
You don't
letting
need to
them-
watch that.
I mean, even the primary draw of that event is violent hitting.
Yeah.
Guys going at it.
Let's not forget about like the cheerleaders either.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
If you want to complain about how they're
They're
dressed,
even less. Cheerleaders are less covered up every Sunday than what they were
Oh, yeah.
wearing during the halftime.
Another thing too is like if Shakira and Jennifer Lopez.
They were just upset because
and knowing those artists, you know what's probably going to happen
Yeah.
from that event.
yeah.
That's not their fault. It's your fault as a parent if it bugs you and your kid that much. I promise you, little Billy is just going to be okay the next day as he was the day before.
Unless he was a Niners fan.
Well, that's a little different.
But no, I go back to what I said last show. I hate every halftime show because I just don't like watching them. But it was like objectively a good one. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Yeah,
like,
At the end of the day, if it's memorable, that's all I care about, and I think that will be a very memorable one. Like whatever and all.
Yeah.
I think that adds to a memorable Super Bowl performance.
yeah, no, it does. It's like Lady Gaga when she like jumped out of the frame.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like really funny.
Or
yeah.
Beyonce when the lights went out.
Yeah.
Another Niners loss.
I didn't plan to make that comparison.
Well, yeah, so the 2 times that the Niners have lost in the Super Bowl are the 2 times I've been able to watch them. So maybe I should
Not
step back
watch?
from the Niners. And
Well,
Are you gonna change teams
no,
on the
I'm
podcast?
not.
Oh.
I'm just saying that.
with my luck, the
I-
Cowboys will make it.
I might be bad luck.
60 years from now, and I'll die right before the game starts.
60,
My
that's a
luck.
little too generous, I would think.
I'll be like what, 81?
No, I'm saying that,
Even for the Cowboys to
Oh
make it.
wow. Okay. Anyways,
All right, prop bets. I only saw A-Rod.
But he was in that commercial, and I'm counting that.
Okay.
yeah, that's one. That was one appearance, and he was in the crowd allegedly, but I don't know if
I
they.
don't-
Yeah,
they never-
They
they
didn't
did-
show him, but
Yeah.
I've seen the video he took of him in the crowd.
Yeah,
So
I know he was in there, but I don't think.
Patrick Mahomes, his draft reference one time, I believe, the MLB.
Right.
Yeah, and that kind of
The Gatorade was orange.
yeah. Danny DeVito was not in a commercial.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, Charlie Day replaced it.
I count that.
Uh,
And then Joe Buck, I thought he was actually pretty good that game.
Thank
No.
you. Thank you.
really?
Yeah. Granted, we were all hanging out, so I didn't hear a lot of his calls. But usually when it was like a big play, because I watched all the highlights yesterday, it's like a 13-minute video, and of course that's every big play essentially, and he was pretty good on him. So
People take Joe Buck for granted. They like
Well.
to jump on the bandwagon and say he's awful, but really there's a lot worse that you could do.
and it's caught by Tyree.
Oh, I think we already asked this before, but would you rather have a Fred or what's his name on Monday Night Football?
Joe Tessitore.
Joe
Who the
Tessitore.
heck is Fred?
Fred Tassitore is an actor. I'm sorry, I got him confused. But so would you rather have a Joe Tessitore type who treats every play like it's an 80-yard run, or
No,
Joe Buck?
because then
who,
that
like,
gets draining after a while.
Yeah, no.
Right.
I'd rather have Joe Buck, but I'd rather have.
I'd rather have
neither
Joe
of
Buck
them.
in that situation.
I'd rather have Al Michaels.
Wide open.
Wide open.
But anyway, anything else from the Super Bowl Sunday?
No, we had a good time at
Yo, I
Ralph's
want
house.
Yeah,
I do want to
enjoyed
thank
it.
the Laupius family for dealing with our shenanigans.
It was a lot of fun.
And tomfoolery, if I do say so myself. And they played great host. And
Uh,
you too, Nick.
I like to think that I kind of kept it in check. I wasn't
Oh,
too
absolutely.
over the top.
Absolutely.
Thank goodness. Scared there for a little bit, but yeah,
You,
it
you
was-
did
it was-
scare me at one point when you left the room to go to the bathroom. I think after the Kelsey touchdown, I was like, oh boy.
Yep.
I was a little worried for
rough.
you there, buddy.
Yeah.
I've been there.
You're a
So-
braver man than I wouldn't have had.
Oh,
anyone
absolutely. I would have not had anyone over.
So we'll see if one of my teams is in the championship again anytime soon.
I do have to give a shout out to Al. I think he did a good job. Granted, he's not really a football fan, but I thought he did a good job of not like egging on against the nine. You know what I mean? When the Chiefs started
Yeah.
winning.
Al Rios said he got chills when Patrick Mahomes went to hug Andy Reid right before the end of that game. He's like, oh, I got goosebumps.
That was a touching moment.
He said it was the most heartfelt moment he's ever seen in sports. And granted, he's only been watching the.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that's not a heartfelt moment. I feel
Right.
like there's better ones.
Yeah. Well, Al didn't know.
That's like the Stanley Cup when the guy handed it to the other dude. What's his name?
All right.
Well, right? No, for
Well,
real.
that happens every single year.
No, like no.
When Joe Sakic gave it to Ray Bork.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That was
that
the
was
Avalanche,
a
right?
yeah.
That's not even the best moment though with the cup.
Was it the Red Wings guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
Vladimir Konstantinov.
No, that's a good one. I
what
I
happened-
knew what Roland was
He
referring
handed
to.
it to the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't he literally hold it first because of tradition and then hand it to? No, don't be
Yeah,
annoyed.
yeah,
I'm asking.
Joe
I don't
Sakic
know.
doesn't lift it over his head. He gives it to Ray and lets him lift it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really touching.
Yeah. That was kind of started the tradition of like the old guy getting it first. I feel like
Yeah.
because now like the captain gets it and then he immediately gives it to the oldest guy on the team.
Who's
who's-
never
right.
won it before.
yeah.
But anyway, you know what? All the NFL talk ending.
Wow.
Oh, okay. We're gonna.
I have to bleep that one out.
Yeah. Ooh, sorry. 2 for 2.
No, well, 2 out of 3.
Well, right. I'm saying, but never mind. Anyways, so the NBA
Jeez.
is gonna
Do you
kick
have
back
the
in.
timestamp on when that was?
We'll finish around 34 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez,
Anyway, So with the NBA starting up and kicking up,
No need to swear about it.
well, I don't know. Of course, there's a word for that when you're trying to find like the gap in between how you speak.
A sentence enhancer. That's what they say on SpongeBob.
It's when you say.
We're off the rails this week.
Oh my goodness, this has not been my best episode. I'll admit it so
No,
far.
no, it hasn't. Actually, it might be.
This has been my favorite. I'll tell you that much.
I'll definitely say that I'm going to try to take
I think
this.
Roland had a few beverages before getting over here.
I did not. I woke up from a nap and I'm still.
It's still from Sunday night. He called him.
What did I?
He called
Child.
Shyle Canahan.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Did I sit in the car?
Yeah. It was when we were almost back. You're like, it was then like Shyle Canahan's over here, and I was.
We were talking about how he looks sickly. Does he not?
You're just very lanky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
The lanky lettuce.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, so Nick, I have a question. Let's say you didn't make an All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be
He didn't.
Would you be okay if your significant other released a statement stating that you should have been in the game and the NBA is at fault for not putting you in one?
Lauren, this goes out to you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Well, that's what Bradley Beal's girlfriend did.
Uh-huh.
His agent, and his wife, he plays on the Washington Wizards, all released statements. He recorded a video where he said the NBA plays favorites. He doesn't care if they fine him for this. And then he put it on video and released it.
Oh, so that's different then.
And then he took that video back. Mm-hmm. And now his agent and his girlfriend have defended him in doing so.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know why you put that in.
Is there do players get some incentive when they're selected to an All-Star game?
Yes, and I don't know what they are off the top of my head.
Straight cash, homie.
Because I've always wondered, if players do put too much stock into being selected to an All-Star game.
I know the MVP gets kind of like I know he'll sometimes get like a
Mm-hmm.
fancy car or something like that.
I want to go on a quick aside.
Uh-huh.
The Pro Bowl, that's like complete garbage now because the fans vote on it and they can just vote in whoever. So it's a popularity contest. All the biggest teams. Thankfully, we're fans of like the three biggest teams.
Right.
All the biggest teams get in. NHL, I don't know if you knew this, Roland. You can, if you get voted in, which I think is also a fan vote, which kind of ruins it too. If you can be like, I don't want to go, and they're like, okay, but you're suspended the first game back. And that's
Really?
like that,
Really?
yeah, that's like your punishment for like so like Ovi and got like the older players and Sid he didn't get in because he was injured this year, but like a couple of years ago he'd be like, nah, suspend me the first game. I'll use that time to like rehab and get better rather. And for the NHL is what I'm getting at. It's more for like the young guys and the of going and all
flashy.
That. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a little different for the All-Star game because the All-Star game only has, I believe, 12 reserves.
Mm-hmm.
I think they definitely should expand that because as I'm about to bring up people who were snubbed, people can basically have crazy, like the average triple doubles every night and not make it. This year's All-Star game is going to be a little bit different because it's going to be this big tribute to Kobe Bryant and his daughter.
As it should.
Team LeBron's going to be wearing number 2 for Gianna Bryant. And
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think...
which, by the way, had completely slipped my mind, but the last women's basketball game we had Sunday, the UNT women's team did lay out 3 jerseys on their bench. 3, I guess it was for the 3 girls that were on the
flight,
team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
So,
touching.
yeah.
But now, so how they're going to set up the All-Star game this time is this sounds weird, and I'll be honest if I truly understand it. So the teams are actually competing each quarter to outscore each other each quarter. Mm-hmm. So let's say the Western team outscores
Is
the
that how it
Eastern
is in
team.
regular?
No, it's they're totally changing it up to make it more interesting. So now if the Eastern team scores more than the Western team, they'll win, and then they'll be the one to donate to a charity of their choice. And then they're gonna do that for each quarter. And
okay.
This is where it loses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is where it loses me, and I'm not sure exactly like what the plan is. I'll be honest. I'm kind of lost on how the fourth quarter is gonna work. I can't tell if it's gonna be a 1st to 24 in honor of Kobe Bryant,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
or if it's gonna find like the average each team scores in the first, second, and third, and then plus 24. because it was going to be a really short fourth.
That seems more confusing, but that's probably what they're going to do.
I think that's what they. If I read that correctly, I think that's the plan, and I think it's basically to ensure that fourth quarter doesn't last 2 minutes.
Yeah, because in that All-Star game, you get both teams easily get. I mean, they almost get to 200 every time.
Oh yeah, I think one year
There's
it
no
was
defense.
175 to 156.
Yeah,
or something
I like the 24 and Kobe tribute. Yeah, but I don't see them doing first to 24.
Yeah,
Like,
that just seems
what I mean?
really short to me, unless it's like street league basketball where it's like each point regardless is just one. But I don't like that. But I'm going to talk about some big All-Star snubs.
Yes, let's do that.
I definitely think Bradley Beal is the big one. He averages.
If I was his girlfriend, I'd make a post about it.
I don't think I would be okay with that, because that's just bringing more unwanted attention upon yourself.
He was the one who initially recorded a video, was he not?
Right? Yes, he was.
So,
but it should have ended there, and then now his agent's on. Now his agent has to back him up, and now his girlfriend just kind of put one out there, and I don't know. I don't think that's a big business move for him. That said, Washington I think only has 15 wins.
I mean, if
the worst team in the league defensively. So I think that's kind of what it boils down to. Yeah. He doesn't really play great defensive games. He'll have those 33.6 assist games night in and night out and not make it.
Do they have one guy from each team? Because the NHL started doing that, where you no offense, Nick, but as bad as the Red Wings are, they have to have a guy at the All-Star game.
Now we had Tyler Bertuzzi representing.
And that guy's pretty good.
He is.
Okay, this is going to be a fun, quick trivia question, and I'm just curious. Now this is not really trivia, but this is a quick question. No,
that's later.
Guess the one team in the NBA that has a record over 500 and does not have a representative in the All-Star game.
The Orlando Magic.
Nope.
I don't know enough teams.
Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
They are above. They are 2 wins away from tying their Vegas total. Their Vegas prediction. That to tell you how good of a season they're having.
And no one's at the All-Star game?
The John Morant will probably be in the Rising Stars Challenge, which is where they get the rookies and the young guys in.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely one I think kind of got snubbed, but I'll also go ahead and say that he's going to make 5 straight after this year. That's just that's indicative to the player he is. I think the big player in the West, Devin Booker.
Yeah, from the
of the Suns.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. People are mad about that.
I don't know what it will take for him to get in, because people say, "Oh, his defense is bad," and this year he's really actually stepped up his defensive play. He basically averages a triple-double every game, and he just doesn't get in. And then it kind of gets to that point where, is it with the team he plays on? That's the problem. Is it that much of a popularity contest? Because apparently the person they're thinking of wanting to take out of the NBA All-Stars from the Western side is Russell Westbrook, which I think if it gets Devin Booker in, you take Russell Westbrook out. Because I think Devin Booker has been a lot more consistent, even though his team record may not reflect that. Mm-hmm. But I think that's a big argument people in the NBA have. It's how much can one player do for his team that shows results in their record? I don't think that's always the case, though. Especially with Russell Westbrook, he started the season pretty poorly, and then he's been lights out the second half. But because he's done so, James Harden's actually had his worst month in 3 years. And it's exactly.
That's a tough decision. The guy's been hot as of late, but if you look at his season as a whole, and he hasn't been as consistent, is he worth being an all-star? You know what I mean?
For that Rockets team, I really think their playoff chances and survival for a run kind of depend on, after the All-Star break, Russell Westbrook and James Harden kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
Because they still don't. I worry that way with the Clippers. The Clippers, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard on the Clippers have only played 18 games with each other.
Because they sit him?
They sit him a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of concern that Kawhi might be injured. They say it's a lower back tightness.
That's what I had when we were playing on games.
Well, so real quick with the Mavs too, Luka has been out back-to-back games, and Porzingis has had his 2 best games without Luka. So that's interesting.
It's very interesting.
But back-to-back games where you put up 30 plus points. He had 38 last night.
I also think it's a little different where I think with Porzingis having that lingering injury history, it's kind of better for him, and I think he'd even be the first to admit that I'll be the guy that plays lights out if Luka can't do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to play devil's advocate. Is he?
Yeah.
Is it? is he stepping up
Yeah.
now
Oh, exactly.
that someone's out of the
That's the
lineup?
role they wanted Porzingis to have.
Which is good.
If their star player can't perform, who's going to be that number 2 guy?
Yeah, as of right now, I believe Luke is still going to be out for about 10 games or so with an ankle injury.
Right. We'll see how severe that ankle injury is. I'm glad it's not any worse than
Yeah.
it was. I know that was really scary. He didn't know the severity of it
It's
at
a
the
big
time.
one last night against the Pacers.
Oh, yeah, that was a great game. And speaking of, next in our topic, I want to talk about the curious case of Andre Iguodala. So earlier in the season, the Warriors traded Andre Iguodala to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Mm-hmm.
He makes about $17 million this year.
Yikes.
He has not played a game.
Why not?
He basically
You don't have to when you're making that much.
essentially
Good point.
He and the team have kind of come to a mutual agreement
He doesn't want to play for
to
him?
just work out and look good, so Memphis can kind of trade him because Andre.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard
Okay,
in
so
my
let me.
life.
It's a lot like Le'Veon Bell in a lot of ways, and I think if anyone should understand that,
Yeah.
like kind of the mentality behind that, if there is one. But he is 36 years old.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies are in the middle of a rebuild. That rebuild's going a lot better than anyone expected. So now the Grizzlies kind of want him back because, hey, he could be that veteran player that gets those young guys to know what it's like. He can
Be the
mentor
wily
those.
veteran.
Exactly. But he, at 36 years old, he's kind of refusing to do so. He said he'll sit out the season if he doesn't get traded.
Yeah.
I think the Memphis Grizzlies, there's kind of that intrigue. The Rockets are for sure really invested in wanting to get him. The Mavs have always been vocal about wanting to get Andre Iguodala. I don't think they will. And the only reason I don't think they will is I think that Mavs team isn't concerned about having a championship push now.
Not right. No.
Yeah.
'Cause they're already, I think, well ahead of schedule. What
Right.
they thought.
I don't think they should trade guys they like just to get a veteran who'll make. I don't know.
No, yeah,
to make a run for potentially this year that
Right.
might not be the best.
Let me get this straight, though. So Golden State trades him.
Right.
What do they get? Like draft picks back? Something like that?
They traded him in a draft pick, and I think
Okay.
it was to help their cap situation.
Okay, fair enough. So they got rid of him. So they traded him to a team where he doesn't play for them.
He makes $17 million this year
and
just
that-
working out.
So they essentially have his contract, is
Right.
what they have. And they want to trade him.
To a contender.
Right. Because
Yeah.
he won't play for them.
Yeah. So
The Memphis did not expect him not to play for them until he
Okay.
said, I'm not
That
going
was
to
someone
play
that
for
is, you know.
this is more, to
Like-
me, this is more like the Steelers trying to trade AB to the Bills.
Oh, yeah. But here's the thing let's get to the point, is now the Grizzly players last night have actually spoken out against Andre Iguodala. Dylan Brooks going as far as saying, yeah, I hope we trade him because I want us to play him and beat him and show him what Grizzlies basketball is all about. And John Morant quoted that tweet with a little shouting emoji like, oh, a little louder
Yeah.
for the ones in the back. So now people like Steph Curry have come into defense of Andre Iguodala saying, hey, he's a 3-time world champion. He's a finals MVP. Like, you can't talk
Yeah,
to
that's
him
when he
like
played.
that. Exactly. So
That's
now,
when he was on a loaded team.
yeah. So my question,
Regardless, it's
my
when he
question
actually
to
showed
you,
up to work.
I don't think a player who wins those games or wins Finals MVP is, untouchable for criticism if he's not going to play for the team that's
Yeah.
frustrated that he's not with them.
And
If as of right now it's taking up that much cap space,
Right, exactly.
you better be doing something.
from a front office perspective, I think it's pretty sick. This is like a Madden
Oh, yeah, this is-
stupid trade, but like
Basketball does this all the time.
from that aspect, like if I'm like a front office guy who's trying to like be like woke and figure like I mean, I don't want to say con the system because it's legal, but I mean, like do that. I like it, but from a player perspective, I get why you'd be frustrated with a guy who openly says who's quote unquote on your team, but says he
Yeah.
won't play for him.
And the big fear with a lot of teams in the league to trade him is, what does he look like after all this time away?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, will he still produce? Will he still be that player?
or is he refreshed?
Right. And with the deadline on February 6th,
Oh, yeah, I was just,
oh, yeah.
yeah, we're going to that.
Yeah,
that's like 2 days.
Who's on the move?
who's on the move? The Detroit Pistons are
Andre Iguodala.
The Detroit Pistons look
Maybe.
like they're going to be in full rebuild mode. I think they're going to get rid of Derek. For sure, I think they're going to get rid of Derrick Rose. I don't think he wants to leave. He's tired of moving around. I don't know which team could use his services the most. I've seen the Pacers get thrown around. I don't know if that move will happen. Andre Drummond is the one that a lot of teams want,
Yeah.
but the fear with him is that he'll be a free agent. And if they do take him, I think there's a $30 million hit to your cap. So it's like, do you really have to be serious for a run?
Yeah.
I've seen the Atlanta Hawks have been really interested in pursuing him. The Mavs have been tied to that name, but again, I don't think they're going to make that move. The Atlanta Hawks have also been interested in Steven Adams. I don't think that they're going to go through with that trade because Steven Adams at 27 is still really young. And I think if you're OKC, I think they're more willing to trade one of their 5 first-round draft picks than a player they like and that they can build upon. Mm-hmm. So I definitely don't think that trade's going to happen. I don't think they're going to get rid of him anytime soon. Kevin Love has been thrown around. As a Cavs fan, there is a part of me that wants to kind of get rid of him, not because he's a bad player. He's a great player, and he means a lot to that city, having been a champ and all. And he's that veteran player who's mentoring those young guys. But he has a 4-year extension worth $120 million. And it's just kind of hard to keep a guy like that with the record that team has. So there's a part of me that wants to get rid of him, but I don't think he's a plug-and-play, fix-all-your-problems kind of guy, whereas I think Derrick Rose is. He's one of the best pick-and-roll point guards in the league. I definitely think J.J. Redick for the New Orleans Pelicans will get dealt with. He has never missed, in his 13 years in the league, he has never missed a playoff game. The Pelicans are kind of making a push, but I really don't think they're going to do it. And he's that veteran player that is a shooting guard. He'll assist everyone when they need it. I definitely think he'll go to a team that's making a push. I can see him going to the Rockets.
This is a podcast curse right here. Roland says he's never missed a playoff game. He's going to get traded to a contender, and they're going to miss out on the playoffs in the final game of the season.
Well, he's going to where he's projected now, he will miss it. And I think like a lot of teams around the league are like, that's a 13-year vet. He knows what it's like to play in the playoffs. And I think he will be like a very hot commodity to get. Andre Drummond, as I already said his name, but I think he's for sure going to be the guy to get traded. Look for the Hawks in that deal because the Hawks are trying to rebuild and they might want him as a veteran guy. He scares me just because of that $30 million cap, and I don't want to say he's at the end of his leash. He just looks tired. Mm-hmm. He plays tired. I don't think he has that same tenacity. Maybe he just needs a change of scenery. That did really good for Markelle Fultz leaving the 76ers to go to the Magic. I don't think the 76ers are going to deal with any trades right now. They have a lot of talent on that roster they're still figuring out. But other than that, I think that's the big names you should look for in this trade deadline. After that, we'll review and we'll see who fits where and what's best.
And you see, it's refreshing to see a sport where the trade deadline actually has trades.
Oh, yeah. Crazy trades.
All right, we are closing in on 52 minutes now, episode number 3. And the next topic of debate or discussion, Tommy McClear was wanting to get into basketball.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no team in Pittsburgh, and he would like to stick, if there was a team there, I'm assuming he would pick them. But, of course...
And they could never support a team, I don't think.
And obviously he won't go with Philadelphia.
No.
So he has asked mainly Roland. Roland is the basketball mind, who he should go with.
And so the names there are 3 that I have kind of like thrown about in his direction. I think OKC is a young team on the rise. They're already a competitive team right now, holding the number 7 playoff spot in the West. With 5 first-round draft picks, the future is looking really bright for them. They're somewhat local to us in Texas. Yeah, I think that's the big thing that could draw to his appeal.
He's got 3 other teams actually the state of Texas.
In Texas,
go for. There's one 30 minutes down the road.
Right, but I think
they have a bright future as well.
But knowing what Tom's looking for in a team, which is like an up-and-coming team that's young and competitive, that's not necessarily located in Dallas, which he has told me.
I think that's ridiculous.
I think that blue collar
he could go to games whenever he wanted. That's 30 minutes down the road instead of hour and a half or probably more. I don't know. You spent a day in OKC.
Oh, yeah. That's a night, actually, in OKC.
Oh, well.
I left that night, too. Not much to see.
I think he should go with the Mavericks, but he says he doesn't like Dallas, so...
Well, and another thing...
I like living here, but...
I think OKC kind of embodies that blue-collar... hardworking team that Tom says the Steelers are, but I'd actually...
They are. No, they're privileged.
Yeah.
The city is a small market.
I would say Buffalo, if anything, has that title.
They both do. Dallas is, nothing against
Pittsburgh, especially modern day Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I want to say
entitled.
I would say in the 70s, the Steel City, yes, but now it's not.
No,
Dallas got rid of the blue collar title a long time ago.
Exactly. Yeah, it's
So did
it's
Pittsburgh.
it's like a big metropolitan, big name.
Yeah, it's one
big
of the
market
top
thing.
3
Right.
biggest women's
So did
cities.
Pittsburgh.
good. I
with
don't
the
want-
Penguins and the Steelers now.
I don't want a
It's
big.
no longer like a hard-working, grinding
Yeah,
Yeah, but
kind of
it's
fan base.
but no,
You don't
no,
see
no,
people-
no,
It's
no,
a-
it is.
It's a
because-
very glamorous.
You know, it is
kind
because
of-
it's a small market. It's the like on NHL when you go on, it's hardcore small fan base. It's not like.
I mean, because video games are the most accurate.
But no,
description
it's not
when
like
it
the
talks-
Lakers where you're gonna find it's like the biggest franchise out there, or the
You
Cowboys,
see
the biggest
Steelers stuff
franchise out
wherever
there.
you go.
Well, that's because they're successful.
Okay. So, whoa. Now I'm confused with your argument.
No, the organization is six. Okay, you want to know? Here's a history lesson.
All right.
The steel mills closed down, and everyone had to move out. So you got people living all over the. No, it's true. This is a true fact. Don't laugh at it. It's people left the city and they all moved to different parts of the country, and it's this old Phil,
Right.
From Cranberry,
Right.
left Pittsburgh, and now he lives in, I don't know, name me a state that's kind of far away. He lives in Florida. And
I was
he
gonna say Wyoming.
sure. And,
I was gonna say Nebraska.
No, people don't live in Wyoming though.
No, it's actually it's a state on the rise, and Boise, one of the top 10 fastest growing cities.
Boise's
No way.
in,
Yeah, Boise.
Boise's in Idaho, so.
Oh yeah, well, it's one of those areas.
So
One of
that
the-
proves my point right there.
Right.
One of those no one thinks about states.
It's the hardcore fan base from the. It's like Kansas City.
Right.
It's like Kansas City. It's like
Okay.
Buffalo. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest. It's like New England to a degree.
Now you lost me there. I would never put.
I'm not. It's not like L.A.,
Right.
New York,
Right.
Dallas, Chicago, where that's like it's one of the bigger Houston, even just because that's a big city.
Yeah.
One of the bigger cities in the country.
You
It's a
saying
hub.
they're not hardworking people in Dallas?
No, I'm not. It's not about hardworking people
That's
anymore.
what you're saying.
No,
You're
it's
saying
not.
it's
It's,
about-
a hardcore fan base from a small market,
But the Cowboys
Team.
are a hardcore fan base.
from a
I'd say.
big market team. I want the.
It's true. Dallas is the 5th biggest market.
Yeah, and the world's number 1 in full NFL, right? I think number 2 in Are you sure about that? We'll double check.
Anyway,
that.
you're proving his point.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, I mean,
That's the
market
thing,
team.
and no offense to Roland, but
America's team. That's what happens.
anyway, I want a small market team with a hardcore fan base with the chance to be successful in the near future. I could be like, I could like the Raptors, but they just won. You know what I mean? And Roland's over here saying they got all these first round picks in
Right,
OKC.
Mavericks could fill that because a lot of the people in Dallas don't pay too much attention to basketball or the Mavericks because they're all caught up with the Cowboys. But that's pocket of Mavs fans very hardcore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mavs fans are.
Well, also,
Same thing with like the Stars.
let's be honest though about this. I'll admit, and both sides of this argument, you call anything everyone's gonna call their fan base hardcore because we're all hardcore fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. yeah.
But yeah, you know
I'd
what
say
I'm
it's a
saying,
little
yeah.
different for a different team or a different scenario.
Okay,
but-
I'm not counting like Arizona Coyotes. I'm not,
Right.
that's out of the question.
But another-
everyone's gonna say their fan base is the most hardcore.
Well,
because
every
they're
fan
part of
base
it.
has that little pocket of hardcore.
Well, of course,
hardcore
yeah.
fans.
Yes.
I've basically looked
And
at.
their amount of fair-weather fans.
Oh yeah. I also one
like
thing.
Al Rios.
One thing with Tom's search for an NBA team is I kind of looked for teams that don't have a big sports market. For one,
That's what I just argued about for
I know,
5
but
minutes.
in that they're the only sports team there.
Yeah, like Pittsburgh.
They're not the only sports team there
Well,
in Pittsburgh.
No, but whatever.
no, they
just
have
keep
the
going.
Pirates and they
That's
have
not my
the
point.
Penguins as well.
Okay, just keep going, Roland.
Okay,
And Oklahoma City, they actually do have another team. Actually, no, I guess that's in Tulsa. I beg your pardon.
oh, what team's that?
Minor league baseball team.
Oh, well, that's a
Double
little.
A,
That's
so-
I'm talking majors right
Yes,
now.
yes.
Yeah, but I definitely think the Portland Trailblazers are right now. They're on a tear. Damian Lillard's just
I'm a big fan of Portlandia
good
as
golly.
well.
He's a monster right now. Damian Lillard, that team goes through him. But the one concern Tom has is that they are a little bit on the older side, but they still put out. They're still putting up fun, exciting games. I definitely think right now for them a little bit over OKC. Every game is kind of mattering for them right now.
Yeah.
A little bit more than OKC. OKC will get to that point, I think, near the more closer playoffs gets. A third team, we have talked about the Raptors a little bit, but again, having come off that championship win.
I feel that's kind of cheap.
Yeah, but it's
You know
also
who
not
would-
competing against like an in-state like rival.
We're talking about hardcore, the San Antonio Spurs. They have a very die-hard, passionate fan group.
Yeah.
They
Here
do,
in Texas.
but
And they have a rich history.
Oklahoma City's closer than.
I think
No, I
that
don't
team
know.
had its championship runs,
They definitely, yeah.
and I think Greg Popovich is a great coach. I don't see them winning one in the near future. And by the near future, I mean 5-7 years.
I'd see that's kind of what I want. I don't want a team like I could just go and say, "Oh, I'll be it." I like Kawhi.
Right.
I'll root for the Clippers.
He is a fun guy.
Yeah, but I don't want like a team. That's gonna win. In the next 2 years or something, or be really good, make a bunch of playoff runs, and then just like not be any good after that. I'd rather at least have a team that's gonna like build up. I think I'm going to announce my team next podcast.
Next
You know what? I think
podcast.
I'm going to announce it right now. I'm
Oh.
going for OKC.
OKC, that's the
There
team.
we go.
Wow.
There you have it.
I expected more of a honeymoon, like winning you over kind of.
Also, I
phase.
like their jerseys too.
They have a really cool
That's a
jersey.
big thing too.
I will
Like,
say this is a slight nitpick. Their logo was created like in 2007, I think. And to me,
it
already
looks like a 2007 logo.
it already looks outdated to me. I don't know what it is. But anyway, I think we're going to finish off with some trivia.
We are just about an hour in. And last segment of the day, Roland says he's got some trivia for us.
Right.
So we'll see if Tommy and I know any of it.
This one is my first one. It's NFL related. In 1983,
Oh God,
only one running back in the NFL threw 2 touchdown passes against the New Orleans Saints.
you googling this?
No.
Oh.
I want to make sure he's not. Yes, he is. What is the name of that running back?
Can you read the question again?
In 1983, only one running back has thrown 2 passing touchdowns in a single game. What is the name of that
Running back that threw 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdown passes
Okay.
in a single game
Oh, and
against the New Orleans Saints.
He wasn't on the Saints. This was against the
This
Saints.
was against the Saints.
83. I'm gonna go. So I'm gonna say, and then Nick will say, then you'll
Yeah,
say who it is.
yeah.
I'm gonna say Marcus Allen for the
Okay.
Raiders.
Okay.
Let's see. I haven't looked this up. I'm gonna just throw. I'm gonna say Tony Dorsett.
Walter Payton.
Oh, I could have got.
Really?
I should have got
Walter
that.
Payton.
That makes sense because they used him to do like all sorts of crazy stuff.
And even then, if you watch the videos of those touchdowns, they're not like little dumb passes on the goal line. He threw a 56-yard bomb.
Oh, Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, he threw another one too. He was a great athlete, and you're watching those videos. I was genuinely surprised, and he still holds that record
That's
today.
impressive.
That's a good
Yeah.
bit of trivia right there,
Yeah.
Rowley.
Absolutely. All
Throw
right.
that one away.
So now this one you might not get, but there is only one former NBA player who has their number retired by the Harlem Globetrotters. He played there for 1 season. And who was that person? He played. I will give you a hint. He's the only player in NBA history to have a 100-point game.
Oh,
Kareem.
No.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Wilt Chamberlain,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, that was my second guess. I knew it had to be an old guy.
Yeah.
And it's between those two.
Wilt Chamberlain was for 1 year was a Harlem Globetrotter.
Which, by the way, do you believe that he had the 100-point game?
Ron, only got a 100-point game. Got to. Well, he might not have.
Wasn't televised, wasn't broadcast anywhere.
I think there's a lot of witnesses to that game that will say he scored 100.
Yeah, and
I'll
then
say that.
like the one picture, the one proof of evidence that they have is just him holding up a piece of paper at the end of the game saying 100 points. That's,
Hey, also, I scored a 100-point game as well. I have a picture of me holding up a thing that says 100.
Well, then be a record to say 100-point
Oh, yeah,
game.
yeah,
So you
I'll believe it.
and he's long and gone. He passed away in 1999, lest we forget. So he may be the only one who'll know if he had
the
a
late
100-point
Wilt
game.
Chamberlain.
And so my next one is actually a basketball-related question. There is only one NBA team in the bi-national Pacific Northwest. What is that team?
Wait, NBA?
NBA. There's only one team, NBA team in the Pacific Northwest.
Portland.
Oh yeah, that's
Portland,
yeah.
The
We
they
already-
used to have Vancouver and Seattle, but they both have since
Seattle's Oklahoma, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
And
also
Vancouver is Memphis.
Oh. Ugh.
All right. So here's the NHL one, and I'm really curious to see if you guys will
All
get
right,
it.
let's go.
What goalie holds the most penalty minutes in a single season?
Ron Hextall.
Holy crap. Yeah, that's who it is.
Makes sense, yeah.
Flyers,
Wow.
scumbag.
Holy wow!
You got to give Nick a chance to answer it, though, Rowley.
Well, I was just impressed how fast you answered it.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll find another
That was
one.
good. That was good.
Good golly, I was like, whoa.
He's a scumbag. Well, I mean, at the time it wasn't, but yeah.
Hmm.
Roland had another question, and I had that he saw on a tweet, and
Right.
I'd seen the tweet separately and sent it to the group, and Roland's like, well, now I got to find a new question, and then it turned out that wasn't even true.
Yeah, it wasn't true. And then,
Yeah, but
but
regardless.
anyway, what is your trivia question? Because I'm just at a loss.
So I got one to settle some beef between you and Nick
All
over
right.
Hot Boys. It's Cowboys 49ers.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and give you this guy, that Ken Norton.
Uh-huh.
I guess he's a linebacker. He played for San Francisco and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a Hall of Famer, but he played for both teams. There's 3 Hall of Famers that have played for both Dallas and San Francisco. Can you name the 3 Hall of Famers?
Charles Haley, Deion Sanders. Those are the obvious ones.
Just T.O. in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know who wins that.
Roland, because he got 2 of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
So I got 2 of them.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
I didn't even
good
think
point.
about Terrell Owens. Wow.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he was in it or not.
Yeah,
No,
he got
he
in a
just
couple,
like 2
couple
years ago,
ago.
right? I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. So, maybe you guys have more in common after all.
You know, I've always said that, but Roland's very standoffish.
But you guys are fans of those big market teams.
Well, I also
so-
think Nick and I
Actually,
get along
San
just
Francisco
fine, but
isn't.
then Nick just has to be right sometimes, and
You got that right.
it leads to a big disarray between the two.
I liked that trivia.
Yeah, that was very fun to do.
If you give
I had
Nick
lot
a
of
chance
fun.
to answer it, then it'd probably be a
Hey.
lot.
Well, okay. Here's the thing: you be me, and you find what you think is an obscure fact that might actually stump you, and then somebody answers it like.
Well,
that.
not even. You can just have a poker face.
It is
and
impressive.
Yeah, that was.
And, he knew it that quickly.
have a poker face and turn to Nick and be like, Nick, who's your guy? And then Nick says, Mike Vernon. And then, you turn, and then Roland says who is right. But, sure.
Okay.
All right. Well,
About
anything else before we wrap up? Already 3 episodes.
Wow.
We're just
That's
cranking
nuts.
them out now.
I'm going to go ahead and throw out 2 NBA suggestions
Oh, yes,
for
yes.
maybe the casual fan who wants to get in. Tonight, the Bucks will play the Pelicans on TNT. I think the Bucks will win by a mile, but I think it will be fun to see Giannis, the reigning MVP, go up against the rookie sensation Zion.
That'll be really cool.
I think that game will be really fun to see how Zion can maybe play against a top
Established
contender,
guy, yeah.
and especially a top team in that league. And Wednesday, Mavs versus Grizzlies, I think will be a fun game. The Grizzlies are 1 win away from being over 500. If they win that game and 1 more, they tie their Vegas total, which is very impressive. Very impressive.
Before even the All-Star break.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That is what really bugs me.
Now we'll
that
see
really-
if KP has another impressive game.
We'll see if John Morant and Dylan Brooks together can combine for a win. The Memphis Grizzlies, when Dylan Brooks scores 20 points, undefeated. They have not lost a game where he has scored
That's a little nugget.
over 20 points.
Thomas should have been a Nuggets fan.
No, I couldn't. That was suggested. I can't get behind a team called the Nuggets.
The Denver Nuggets.
It's so dumb.
They're a hard-working team.
Yeah.
They have the minds in Denver. Really blue collar.
That's a blue collar.
I know, right?
I didn't.
Oh wow.
I just don't like.
It kind of makes sense. The Steelers are something you kind of meld together, and gold. The Nuggets are something
Yeah, but
you take
one's
gold
one-
and you meld that.
I understand the argument, but just think of
The heck does the Thunder have to do with
just
anything?
think of how it sounds. The Steelers, and then you got the Nuggets. It's dumb.
I mean, I say Denver Nuggets. That's their
It's-
team, and their logo is really cool. 'cause
All I
it's
can
two
all I
guys.
can think of is the.
Do you think the Utah Jazz have that problem?
No, all I can think
See, I
of.
do have a problem with the Jazz name.
I do too,
And that
actually.
is just so out of place in Utah.
I really
it
wish,
started
like-
out in New Orleans,
Yeah.
but when they relocated, they should have changed it to the Utah Mormons or something.
I was gonna say Utah Salt or something like that.
Yeah,
Even I don't think that's bad.
Salt Mobile.
They're both terrible.
Sodium chloride. No, what would be a good
So
Utah?
here's what I say. When the LA moves, when the Lakers move to LA, get rid of the Great Lakes name. Utah has the Great Lakes. Utah Lakers.
Yeah, that's actually better. But then, so what are we renaming the LA Lakers then?
Why would
Not my
LA
problem.
Would, LA would never move.
Not my problem.
But, so, what would be a good one for the Utah Jazz to have right now? What is in Utah? I'm trying to think.
Lakes.
Yeah, but you can't say
But yeah,
Lakers.
I know,
you can't say
yeah.
Salt Lakes.
I don't know. You can't think of much else there. Are you looking up?
I'm looking at what
Like-
is
like
Utah and then it
land
fills
features?
in known for. Well, it has the best skiing in the country.
Utah skiers.
Yeah, I mean, if Denver's the Nuggets, you've got that whole like how that's called the Colorado Avalanche. You've got that whole mountain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freed up, so they could be the Utah Mountaineers.
You can make a
Solve it.
actually that's really good because
Yeah.
you can make a pun off the westward expansion too. But then the Trailblazers kind of got that.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
think-
We should
There
have an
you go, there you
episode.
go.
We should have an episode devoted to renaming team
Oh,
mascots.
well, you see, me and
You know what? They're known, this list, number 10, fry sauce. The validity of the claim that fry sauce was invented in Utah. It's
mean
never
fry
been proven
sauce?
true nor false. Either way, people from Utah sure do like to consume it. And it's not just for fries, we'll put it on anything. So,
what is it? Like ketchup?
no.
Fry sauce? I have no idea what is.
Isn't that like a mixture of like ketchup, mayo?
Okay,
and-
so like secret sauce then. That's what it's called. Like
Right, yeah.
Like the stuff they have at Cane's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just ketchup and mayo.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
I've never heard it called fry
Apparently,
sauce.
it started.
In Utah.
I don't know how you could put that into a team name.
Yeah, I don't know where you're going with that.
No,
but
I-
Fry sauce
I
arena.
thought that was interesting. That was one of the things they're known for is apparently fry sauce.
Utah cooks.
I would like to have an episode, and we talked about this a long time ago, is doing where we realign the NFL divisions.
Oh yeah,
And how,
that'd
like-
be fun. Because if you think about it, the NFC East, the Cowboys shouldn't be in it because the rest
They've
of
benefited for years.
And I
being
don't
in
think
that-
Miami should be in
No.
the AFC East either.
No.
That doesn't make
yeah.
any sense.
Again, they're like both like teams pretty down south,
Yeah.
and they're playing in like against Northern.
I'll say it all works.
Oh
right
yeah, it does,
now,
and it's
but-
history, and it'll never leave.
Yeah, but I think it'd be fun to do that. You know what I
oh
mean?
yeah, just a fun little like, what would you put here?
yeah,
Oh, well,
a good
maybe-
a good debate topic.
Well, we do sure like to debate each
Yeah.
other.
And
That
we
is
can
for
say
sure.
which teams are small markets with hardcore
That got
fans.
Tommy riled up. All right, well, that'll do it for episode number 3 of Get the Ball Rolling. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you soon. For Tom and McClear, who only like small market, hardworking teams where their economy closes down because of the steel mills. For Roland Stevens, who is obviously the basketball expert of the group, and for Nick Laupius, who has all the cursed teams, it seems like, at least in the last decade or so in championship games, saying so long, and we'll see you next time on Get the Ball Rolling.